All right, MLB playoffs are here, and in this video, I'll be going over the wild card games on Tuesday, October 1st, and my opinion on each series. Now, I will admit, the last month, I've been more focused on NFL, so baseball has taken somewhat of a back seat, but really hasn't seemed to matter because the last 30 days, I'm up over 10 units on official MLB best bets that get posted in the Betting Network Discord, which I'm really happy with. On the season as a whole, I finished a little over 26 units for best bets. That number doesn't include future bets either. I absolutely crushed those, winning 17 and only losing 5 futures for over 23 units of profit. Combined between best bets and futures, it's a 50-unit regular season. All these bets were posted in the Betting Network Discord. There is an invite link to join in the description of this video or in my bio, depending on where you're watching it. Hope to see some of you guys in there. Now let's get into these wild card games. I spent all day Monday updating my numbers for baseball and was interested to run the numbers to see what teams showed value, and not one of them showed any value. My numbers basically aligned with every game, one line that the sports books have. But I do have a couple bets because my numbers don't know that the Mets and Braves played a doubleheader on Monday. So I'm going to play opposite both of them in game one with a Padres Brewers parlay. The worn down position players and bullpens should have a tough time tomorrow. And I think with lines so tight, there is some thin value there. I also have a 2-unit series bet that I'll discuss in a second. But let's go over each wild card series here, starting with the Orioles and Royals. I made Baltimore minus 175, so this is close enough to where the odds makers have it to not be a play. The only pathway to the Royals winning, I feel like, is like a 3-1 or 2-0 type game. If Baltimore can get the 4 runs, I think they win the game. And I think they get to 4 runs. Royals should have a very tough time scoring here, in my opinion. I think this is going to be kind of like an under-type series, too. Astros, Tigers. Detroit was my dark horse this year. Before the season started, I bet them over regular season wins at 79.5 and 80.5. I also bet them to make the playoffs and have a small bet on them to win the AL pennant at plus 3,500 odds. So I'm obviously invested in the Tigers here. But game to game, this series is tough to break down. What's the Tigers' pitching plan? Screwball for game one, and then what? I'd love nothing more for this Tigers team to get past the Astros, and this AL pennant bet would be very live. I'm probably biased, but if I had to pick a wild card round upset, I think Detroit has the best shot, to be honest. Of course, I'm not betting that because I'm already so invested in them. But if Detroit can get 3 runs off a Framber, it'll be a game for taking game 1, I think, for Detroit, and then having a rested deep bullpen for game 2. Getting some source plays sent as I'm doing this here. Let's go to the next game. Brewers, Mets. I like the Brew Crew here. Besides having them in game 1 tied up into a parlay, I also have a 2-unit best bet on them to win the series at minus 130. It's not because I think Milwaukee is so much better than the Mets. It's more that I don't think the Mets have anything left for these 3 games. Mets have now played, 5 must-win games in 4 days, Friday to Monday. They now have a 3-game series in front of them with no off days during this stretch. Super tough spot. Mets were already at an offensive disadvantage, now have a starting pitching and relief disadvantage as well. I almost think it would be smarter for the Mets to just punt game 1 away and look to be full strength for Wednesday, but regardless, I really like the spot situationally for the Brewers. Even though my numbers don't really show much value, I think they could be minus 150 here if you factored in the situation, and it would be closer to the true odds. Padres, Braves, last game on Tuesday. As of this recording, Atlanta is undecided on their game 1 starter. Only thing that seems certain here is Free will start game 2. Similar to Detroit, it makes them kind of a tough handicap. I have the Padres tied up with the Brewers in a game 1 parlay at plus 185 odds. Don't think Atlanta has much of a shot here in game 1. Padres are minus 160 to sweep this series, and it's a bet I'm strongly considering making. I'm going to wrap this one up here. Not too much insight. Like I said, I've been out of the loop a little bit with baseball. Might do another video on Tuesday night for the game 2 games. We'll see how that goes with the week with NFL and MLB being intertwined. Thanks for watching. Until next time, good luck with your bets. For any of you guys that have stayed to the end, let's do a little quick room tour here. Encore Boston Harbor. Rooms are like $600 a night, but I mean, I'm not paying that. That's fucking ridiculous. I got a comped room for bearding for a guy at the sports book and spending a bunch of money. Not my money though.